Hello, I'm Charles Coves, Australasia's passion provocateur. Welcome to the first episode for 2023 of the Charles Coves Show, episode 136 since we started on this journey in 2020. And a happy new year to you. We welcome you, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Rumble, or listening via podcast. It's great to have you here. Great to have you for another year of weekly ideas, opportunities for learning, for growing, for self-awareness, for passion. So, for the first episode of the year, having had 3 weeks off, seems a long time ago that I was speaking to you. My big idea this week is to welcome you to 2023, and I set out for you 7 choices that will make your 2023 a very happy one indeed. These choices are clear and simple, but they are not easy. Making these choices consciously gives you great personal power. And power is your ability to create your life in 2023 according to your terms. I want you to live a successful life and to have a successful year. These 7 choices you make will ensure you achieve such a year. I urge you to make these choices and then live your life according to these choices. Our format for the show continues this year in the same as last year. I share with you the big idea. I share with you 6 resources to help you implement the big idea. I review some key happenings of the last period since the previous show, in this case, the last 3 weeks. And then finally, the foundational principles for this show and more details about my background are contained at the end of the show so that regular viewers and listeners don't have to keep seeing the same stuff. But for new viewers and listeners, you will find it most helpful. So let's get into today's big idea. And before we get into the big idea, let me get into my coffee. Those of you regular viewers, listeners know, how I love coffee, how passionate I am about coffee. So, it's a new year. How do we have a happy new year? That's the wish, isn't it? I hope you have a happy new year. Well, I do hope you have a happy new year, and I'm giving you 7 choices that will indeed make your 2023 very happy. We all make choices all the time, but many times they are made unconsciously. Making these 7 choices that I'm about to share with you consciously are crucially relevant to your life and how 2023 unfolds for you. So let's get into these 7 choices. Number 1, choose to be responsible. Don't be a victim. Don't be a martyr. Choose responsibility. Taking responsibility for your life means you are in control of your life. Taking responsibility for your life means you don't blame anybody for what happens to you. Responsibility is such a powerful, powerful idea. I say you are responsible for the future of the country in which you live, regardless of where you're listening. I'm responsible for the future of Australia. I'm responsible for the future of the planet. I'm responsible for my life. When I make such a choice, everything changes. When I blame other people for my life experience, I've become a victim. I'm no longer in charge. This is such a powerful, liberating concept. Choosing responsibility puts you in charge. Second choice, choose your top 12 friends. Who are the 12 friends most important to you in your life? Who are the 12 friends that love you the most and that you love? Consciously choosing these 12 will ensure that you invest the necessary time in those 12 relationships. And you know how complicated one relationship is. And if you consciously choose the 12, you will continue to build this wonderful resource that you presently have of 12 friends, and that they don't unconsciously disappear or dissipate. Your most loving and loved friends are an amazingly powerful resource for you. Choice number 3. Choose your worthy ideal for your life. In previous episodes, you've heard me share my favorite definition of success. Success is the progressive realization by you of your worthy ideal. What is your worthy ideal for your life? What do you think your life is about? And if you don't clearly know, then part of your job this year is to say, what is the worthy ideal of my life? I've shared with you previously, my worthy ideal and why I do what I do is to learn and grow. And a subtext of that is that I'm a freedom warrior. You'll hear that in the background of the foundational principles of this show, of how freedom plays such a crucial part in my life. But as I am a freedom warrior, I'm also learning and growing whilst pursuing the fight for freedom in a range of 5 areas, including freedom to pursue your passion, hemp and its ability to keep people free, freedom of speech, particularly as chairman of the Institute of Comedy, freedom from government overreach, which I do as a legal strategist, and then freedom that arises from being healthy. Because if you're in a hospital bed like my son presently is in hospital, you're hardly free. Great health liberates you, frees you. That leads to choice number 4. Choose to be healthier. Make this choice at the start of the year. I choose to become healthier. And my definition of health is that it is, and most people don't have a definition of health. They think they're healthy, but they haven't. They say, what do you mean by health? Well, I'm not sick. That's not a definition. That's not health. Not being sick, discernibly sick, is not health. Here's my definition that you may wish to use. I urge you to embrace it if you don't have one. It's the best one I've found. I've crafted it, but it comes about from 50 plus years of involvement, 60 plus years of involvement in health. And it's this. Health is the unique optimum balance for you of mental, physical, and spiritual elements. Health is the unique optimum balance for you of mental, physical, and spiritual elements. So choice number 4, choose to be healthier. Choice number 5, choose to embrace your problems and not resist them. Everybody's got problems. If you resist them, you are wasting your energy, pushing back, creating unnecessary stress in your life. Embrace your problems, because the fact is you deserve them. The choices that you have previously made have led to the problems you have today. And as you've heard me say in other episodes, as a human being, your reward for solving your problems is not peace, happiness, joy, success, blah, blah, blah. Your major reward for solving your problems is bigger problems. If you are alive, it means you have problems to solve. And if you resist them, it's a waste of your time, energy. Don't do that. Embrace your problems and then go, okay, what am I going to learn? How am I going to grow by handling this problem? Don't say to yourself, I'm not good enough because I've got these problems. If you didn't have problems, you would create them. So embrace the problems, solve them, and knowing that you're going to get bigger problems. Isn't that exciting? So you don't beat yourself up because you've got problems, which is what many people do. Choice number 6. Choose your tribe. I was going to say choose your gang, but you can think of it as a gang, but choose your tribe for mutual support, encouragement and learning to handle global challenges. And trust me, we are facing a range of global challenges. We are facing challenges from the WHO. We are facing challenges from the World Economic Forum and Davos. We are facing challenges from the desire to take away national sovereignty. If you join groups, and I can help you find such tribes or groups or gangs, you create a mutual support mechanism so that when the shit really hits the fan, you have got a group ready, willing, and able to get into action regardless of what happens. And then being part of such a group, and I'm a member of a number of these groups, it liberates you from unnecessary fear. Being part of a tribe coalesced around a particular goal is a very powerful resource for you. And lastly, the last choice, the seventh choice, a very powerful choice. I left this to last. It's just 4 words. It is the secret to happiness. And I said I would guarantee for you a happy 2023. Well, if you make this choice, you will indeed be happy. And the choice is 4 words. Choose to be happy. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Not easy. Choose to be happy. These 4 words are of crucial importance to you. You see, most people, in my experience, and I have a lot of experience, most people are unhappy because they've got problems. But I've already said to you, you're going to have problems for the rest of your life. If you're waiting for the absence of problems to be happy, you won't be happy. And I promise you, you can be happy in the midst of problems. How do I know? I've got plenty of problems and I'm happy. This is a powerful, liberating idea. Julie lives her life by this way. I live my life this way. My dad taught me this. I promise you it works. The Dalai Lama also says that. Stop waiting for some state of nirvana before you're happy. Choose to be happy. When you are happy, your ability to handle all the stuff you need to handle is enhanced, is empowered, is enlarged. It's a wonderful way to live your life. And it's a conscious choice for the previous 6 choices I gave you. If you make your conscious choices amongst these 7, you will indeed have a wonderful, successful, spectacular, happy 2023. I promise you. So, let me give you the resources to then help you live life in this way, according to these conscious choices you make. My quote is by John C. Maxwell, a prolific author, expert on leadership. He says this: life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you. How about that? You can make yourself totally new this year by making these 7 choices consciously. Life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you. My book this week is by John C. Maxwell. It's called How Successful People Grow. And I picked this book out of his many books because I've said to you before, my worthy ideal is to learn and grow. That's what my life is about. The meaning of my life is to be here to learn and grow, to embrace this experience of life. Well, how do you grow? Well, John Maxwell's book could be the one that you need. My song this week is by James Brown. And the idea of this song is to make you happy. And it's, ooh, I feel good. Da, 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 da. I knew that I would now. I feel good. And the reason why I also picked this song is it is a happy song, but also because this was the theme song that we chose in our team in 1993 when I went to business school in Hawaii with Robert Kiyosaki. And we had a team of 11 of us, and it was a pretty powerful team. And this was our theme song when we were doing hard exercise. We go, I feel good, I feel fine, and we'd be running, walking up the hill. So, songs are powerful. They are songs. Music is the language of the soul. Pick a song that revives your spirits. My health tip this week. I'm getting a lot of information from the various sources that you know that I have access to of the power of vitamin D3. Now, I've been increasing my intake of vitamin D3, and I had a test done. I was shocked, despite all my exercise on my bike, to find how low my vitamin D levels were. Get your vitamin D levels tested. Vitamin D has a crucial element in the functioning of many parts of your body's system. My spiritual tip is to meditate on who your 12 top friends are. You see, your friends are those that you care about, you love. This is a spiritual element of your life. It's one of the 10 spiritual elements starting with F, the letter F. Your friends, but who are your top 12 that you are going to nurture throughout 2023, who love you the most, who you love the most? You can have thousands of Facebook friends, but they're not your friends. These are the top 12 friends. And many of you will have many more friends. You can go, gosh, how do I limit this to the top 12? And then lastly, on the issue of choices, we have a spot of humor. And it's a small story about a small shop owner, and it's relevant because it's summer in Australia, in Melbourne, here in Victoria, and I used to be president of the Lawn Surf Lifesaving Club, and yesterday was the Pier to Pub Swim at Lawn. I didn't get a chance to go and do that because I had too much work on. But Lawn over summer, like many seaside resorts, is busy, but then in winter it gets quieter. Well, this is a story about a small shop owner who has a store on a beach, needs to hire some help. And the jobs, of course, are seasonal. So he found two. He couldn't decide which one, but he thought, oh, well, they've got to go back to school at the end of the holidays. So after interviews, he chose a young man named Jack, who'll do most of the heavy lifting, and a young pretty girl named Melanie to work the till and do some light sales. They work out extremely well. The summer is busy, but as it starts to come to an end and the weather turns cool, sales go down, and there's a lack of tourists. So he needs to alleviate the lack of income. And he knows he has to get rid of one of his new employees, but he likes them both. And he's reluctant to make a choice. Melanie is moving some boxes, so he decides to pose the dilemma to her. Maybe one of them wants to go willingly. Melanie, he says, I have a bit of an issue that I need your help to decide which way to go. I either have to lay you or Jack off. She continues to move the box in her hand and replies, could you jack off? I have a headache. I know it's a bit rude, but hello, it's a new year, and Julie's shocked that I would have that joke. No, she's not. She knows what I'm like. So, I hope today's big idea and the choices I've provoking you to make will help you to make this an amazing year, will help you to raise your self-awareness, will help you to live your life with passion, to embrace this amazing gift that we have of life. I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel or the Rumble channel or to the podcast, to share it with your family and friends and your work colleagues. Discover more about our corporate and public programs at covest.com, and for the self-awareness and passion quest, visit charlescovest.com. You can access my first two books, Passionate People Produce and Passionate Performance, at both of those websites. Now, let's review some key happenings over the last 3 weeks. It's hard to imagine that 3 weeks has gone just like that. The previous show I recorded on the 18th of December, and now I'm recording this on the 8th of January, and go, wow. So 3 weeks goes by. We had Christmas celebrations, New Year celebrations. Some of you will notice that my beard has got a bit lighter. Well, a week ago I had to cut off my beard because we had to dress up for a New Year's Eve party, which we do every year, and I had to go as a woman, so I decided I wouldn't go as a bearded woman. I went unshaven. So it's coming back, you can see. So I'm pleased to see that in about 2 weeks' time, it won't be any different. My beard grows very quickly. I must say it was surprising how many people that I'm close to did not notice that I had lost my beard. And it was a salutary lesson again that you will stop worrying about what people think of you when you realize how little time they spend thinking of you. Close family members did not notice my beard was missing. The global meetings that I moderate 3 each week continues. So there have been 9 meetings of importance, relevance, including the medical doctors for ethics that I've told you about, and then the foam meetings, and the important matters and ideas have come up out of that you will get the benefit of from these weekly shows. So stick around, because there are some major challenges that humanity is facing. And coming up in this month is the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos. I consider the WEF to be a grossly evil organization, and I urge you to question everything it says. I also consider the United Nations to be of bad intent, and the Smart Cities campaign that it's promoting must be resisted. And there's this nonsense of the 20-minute rule, 15-minute rule. Please make yourself aware of it. It is such a threat to your freedom and my freedom. I am implacably opposed to it. And lastly, over the last 3 weeks, you'll be pleased to know that Julie and I have maintained our health, have done the things that help us to be healthy, have done the exercise. I've continued to train almost every day, and I urge you to do the same. It's one of the choices that you make. Choose to be healthier. Well, I assure you, with all the things I've got on my plate, I never have the idea I can't afford to exercise. Every hour of exercise increases your capability, gives you 2 hours of productivity, so you're 1 hour ahead. So, if you're new to the show, stick around now for the last part, which is the background about me in some detail, but the foundational principles of the show. There's some good ideas to share in it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing amongst your family and friends and work colleagues. I again wish for you a successful 2023. I urge you to make these 7 conscious choices that I've brought to your attention. I hope your week is full of passion, of challenge, of love, of friendship, and anticipation for next week's episode of The Charles Kovess Show. Thanks for being here. Bye for now. And now, for viewers and listeners who want to know more about my background and what else I do with my life, as well as the foundational principles of the show, here we are. Since 1993, when I left my legal career, a career that I love, to become Australasia's passion provocateur, I have inspired and provoked and educated and motivated people all over the world to discover and pursue their passion. I have helped people via the books that I've written, via speeches at conferences, via in-depth team building programs, workshops over 1, 2 or 3 days, or over 3 months, 6 months. And I've coached people of all ages, one-on-one, from small, medium and large enterprises, government enterprises, helping them to identify the often tiny changes that can make a massive difference. One of my core principles is that freedom is what makes us truly human. That's why one of the greatest threats that government imposes on you to force you to observe its laws is the threat of imprisonment, the loss of your freedom. Just think about that. Government says, if you don't behave yourself, we're going to put you in jail. No, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to lose my freedom. That's a reminder to you of why freedom is so important. Without freedom, you and I are not much different to animals. If you were locked up in a cage for the rest of your life, how different would you be to an animal? This commitment to fighting for freedoms for all people is carried out by me primarily through 5 channels. Number 1, preserving the freedom to pursue your passion. Number 2, inspiring you to be able to be free through excellent health. Number 3, helping preserve freedom throughout the world through the expansion of industrial hemp, a magnificent agricultural crop, an almost miraculous crop that enables every community to thrive independently of government. In this way, the power of government to take away freedom is minimized. Number 4, fighting for freedom through legal strategies. So I do work as a legal strategy consultant, as an interface between clients and their lawyers. And number 5, as chairman of the Australian Institute of Comedy and as a board member of the Australian Cartoon Museum, fighting for the freedom of thought and speech through uncensored comedy and humour, through avoiding political correctness in the comedic space. When you block freedom of speech, freedom of thought, that's the beginning of the end of your freedoms. The foundational principles for the Charles Covess Show are founded on the formula SA plus P equals S. Your self-awareness added to your passion will guarantee that you are successful. And the best definition of success I have found in life is that success is the progressive realization of your worthy ideals. The progressive realization of your worthy ideals. This show is also guided by Socrates' famous principle and quote, "The unexamined life is not worth living." You can see I'm wearing my red jacket. I wear my red jacket for all my shows. Red is the color of passion, so that when you see me on the YouTube version, it reminds you that when you see red in your life, you ask yourself the question, am I pursuing my passion? What am I passionate about? Am I still passionate about that? What might I newly be passionate about? Each week I explore one big idea that can change your life. And it's just one big idea because there's a chance you will remember it. If I give you too many ideas, then we get confused and we don't do anything. Clarity leads to power. Confusion kills passion. Each week I share simple and practical resources that you've heard me describe in the earlier part of the show. A spiritual tip, a health tip, lyrics of a song, a book, a quote, and of course humour. This show is not politically correct. I have no intention of being politically correct. And I love certain addictions, including my addiction to great coffee, my addiction to exercise, my addiction to reading, and my addiction to certain other unmentionable in public type behaviours. Who would know what they are? This show definitely subscribes to the view that we have a spiritual life. So if you don't like discussion of spirituality, this show is not for you. I promise you that I don't include anything in this show that I don't consider to be true and that I have not found to be useful in the work that I've done over the past 28 years, but also over the past 50 years in business, as a lawyer, as a consultant advisor. I only want to share stuff with you that is of value to you. Finally, if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to contact me at charles@covess.com. Again, thanks for watching and listening to my show. Bye.